everyone, it's me. I know that I haven't posted a video in a little while now, so as a token of my gratitude for you guys sticking around, I figured I'd go over my meatballs today. So it is a family recipe. I tweak it for what I need and what I make for the kids and what they like and whatnot, but I'm going to show you what I do on a typical Sunday. My time is shrinking though with the kids in baseball and other activities right now. So I know that this is going to get harder and harder to do our family meals, but we are going to stick with it. We plan them out on the weekends. We even have certain days of the week that have, dedicated meals, Taco Tuesday being one of them. But today is Sunday and we usually do pasta and meatballs on Sunday. And that's not going to change because I can prep that ahead of time and then let it just simmer on low for the rest of the day, really, while we're at baseball. So, all right, I'm going to get to it, and here are Sunday meatballs with me. All right, guys, the first thing that I'm going to show you is the ground beef. This is about a little bit over a pound of ground beef, 93% lean. You do want to have a little bit of fat in your meatballs. The meat that you select, it just helps to add that extra flavor, and the oils do drain out when you fry them up, and then we put them back into the gravy later on for that extra flavor. So you can select whatever type of meat you like. You could do turkey, you could do ground chicken. I've even seen tofu meatballs made. So just keeping those things in mind. You can use whatever kind of meat you want, but it would then add flavor to your actual gravy when you add them later on and let them sit and simmer. So like I said, about a pound, a little bit over a pound of ground beef here. The next thing that I do is I chop up my ingredients, and I already did that ahead of time because I'm trying to save a little bit of time here on the video for you guys. But all I have here, and I'm going to try to show you this right now without them sliding down my cutting board, is about a handful of chopped parsley. I like fresh, so if you have that available, or if you can run to the store, I would definitely recommend that. I don't like to add dried herbs to the meatballs themselves. So, but if that's all you have, perfectly fine. It still adds the same kind of flavor. The other thing here that I have are 2 cloves of garlic chopped up. You want to get them as fine as you can. I have a hard time chopping them up much finer than that, but you're going to add that to your meatballs. And then the onion, that's probably about half of a small onion, small like this big. So about half of a small onion chopped as finely as you can. And you're just gonna add that right to your bowl of meat. So once I added those ingredients, or I should say just after I added those ingredients, I ran over to the stovetop just to make sure that it was on. It was. So just make sure that you set and I use a cast iron, your pan with a little bit of olive oil, just a nice coating on the bottom, on medium heat right now, and then you can go back to the rest of your meatballs. All right, so in the bowl right now is the ground beef, the parsley, the garlic, and the onion. The next thing that I'm gonna add is my spices. So I like onion powder. Even though there's onion in there, I still add a little more onion powder. I don't measure this out, so however much you like to flavor, to taste, if you want to leave it out completely, feel free. So a little bit of onion powder. I like garlic, so I'm gonna use more than what I put in there for the onion powder, but the garlic powder. All right, and then I'm missing them, but over there I'm gonna go grab them. my salt and pepper. So a little bit of pepper, a couple turns on here, and then we don't like a lot of salt in the family, so just a little bit of salt in there now, and that's what you got in the bowl so far. Next, add 1 egg. Good rule of thumb is about a pound of ground beef to 1 egg. So if you're making a double batch or whatever, if you're adding more, just kind of make the ratio the same for 1 pound of ground beef or beef, whatever meat you're using, to 1 egg. So I'm just gonna add that now. You can whip that up or whisk that up ahead of time too and then add it. I just add it all into the bowl because I know I'm gonna get my hands dirty in a minute when I'm making the meatballs. So egg in the bowl. All right, you guys, my favorite, Lucadelle cheese, and you want to add as much of this as you want into the meatballs. It really helps the meat to stick together, along with the egg that you're going to use or that you already put in there. But I really love this flavor, so I'm going to use a lot of Lucadelle cheese. I'm also going to add Lucadelle cheese to my shopping list because it looks like we're running low here. If I had to guess on an amount, I'd say maybe 1/3 of a cup of cheese that I'm using here. Again, I'm just kind of guessing on that, but I'll give you a quick view. And sorry guys, there you go. And then the last ingredient that I'm gonna add is the breadcrumbs. So I think I'm gonna use about a cup. I'm just gonna pour in and then I start to mix. And then once I get the feel for it, if it's too runny from the egg, I'll just add a little bit more breadcrumbs because that really helps to absorb any of the moisture that's in the meatballs themselves. So yeah, so I'm just gonna pour and then I'm gonna have at it. So that's probably maybe a little bit less than a cup that I just poured in there. All right, guys, now the fun part. Clean hands, right? You're going to stick your hands in this goop and goo and get them really nice and dirty, but you're gonna mix all of those ingredients together. Yes, you can use a fork. Yes, you can use a spoon. I feel a little bit more authentic doing it this way, but I also like that I'm able to see everything and mix everything together at that point. So I am gonna put my hands in here. I am gonna get it all nice and dirty. I'm going to try to show it to you, but then I don't know how I'm gonna turn off the video, so bear with me, okay? So you just wanna get in there and just start folding things over and seeing what kind of concoction you're gonna make with the meatballs. Again, you wanna get the breadcrumbs to kind of coat the outside of the meat that you're kneading here or mixing with it by hand. Excuse me. And then you are just, I like to turn it because then it scoops up a lot of those breadcrumbs. I'm probably just talking too much right now because I don't know how I'm gonna turn off my video yet. So bear with me. And this was actually a really good consistency of meatball. Like I mentioned, the breadcrumb to egg to meat ratio is kind of a fine balance that you might need to figure out what works best for you. But I'm gonna show you what this looks like. So I probably did that for what, maybe less than a minute. And I'm just kind of mixing here. All right, so I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna go wash hands, and then I'm gonna go turn you off. So see how that's all nice and mixed in there? I see the onion, I see the garlic, I see the cheese, I see the breadcrumbs, I see the parsley, everything that I want to see in each one of the little meatballs that I'm gonna make, I see right here, so, all right. All right, guys, so now it's time to actually make the meatballs. We have the ingredients all mixed together in this nice little bowl, and you're just gonna dive back in, start, you know, rounding them out, making them the ball shape that you like. Some people really like compact meatballs. I don't. I like the ones that fall apart, that stick together enough but then fall apart when you put a fork in them. I just like that texture, that flavor, that way that meatball crumbles. That was so corny, I'm sorry guys, but I do, I like that type of meatball. So I'm not gonna sit here and pack it down like some people do and make these perfect round ball shapes of meat. I'm going to show you how I make my meatballs with the ingredients that we just put together. So like I said, I dive right back in. About the size of my palm, that's actually too big. A little less than the size of my palm is the meatball that I want. I give it a couple roundabouts. And then I just will add that to my stovetop over here, the cast iron that I've got going on. I'm trying to show this to you so you can kind of see. Again, you've got all the different ingredients in this one ball of meat, which is wonderful. And then we're just going to add that straight to the cast iron pan. I mentioned I love that sizzle. So when that first one hits the pan, that's kind of one of probably my favorite noise. So I'm just going to keep going throughout here. And again, I mentioned I'm not compacting them too much, but I'm, balling them up enough. And the ingredients that we do have in here will make this stick together. So don't worry about them crumbling or falling apart too much. But again, you kind of want to leave them alone. Don't handle them too much. Timing is also key when you are putting your meatballs into the pan over here, because when you're doing that, you kind of want to keep them as even as possible. So you're going to move fast through this process. They don't have to be perfectly shaped. They don't all have to be the same size. And you just kind of move as you go. Now, similar in size, definitely, because you don't want to have too many meatballs that aren't as cooked as the other, or one cooks way too fast and you've got a black ball of meat over here. So you just kind of want to do this as uniformly, time-wise and consistently as possible. So don't walk away from it is basically what I'm saying. I always go, I start at one spot and then I will add them to the pan in a circular motion, starting with the outside. I don't know why I do that. It's probably just my nature to do it that way. But again, the other thing too, when you are cooking up your meatballs, you do not want to overcook them, because what you're going to do is you're going to add them to your gravy later on to finish cooking. So all you're doing right now is not cooking your meatballs, you're just browning the outsides. Almost done here, guys. It looks like I need a little oil in the bottom up there. Probably got two more. And there you go. I'm going to wash hands, turn you off, and then get back to the meatball. Alright guys, I learned from one of my other videos that you might not be able to hear this part just due to the sizzling in the pan, but I just wanted to show you what the meatballs look like while in the pan. And again, they're just browning up. I will then use some tongs to flip them around, move them over so I brown all sides of the meatball, and then I'm going to set them aside. Alright guys, so I already flipped the meatballs once, and now they're just cooking the other sides of them, and that's about the doneness that you'd want on one side, knowing that the inside may still be a little pink, but that will continue to cook in the gravy once you add that to the gravy after you're done cooking all the sides. Alright guys, that's a wrap on the meatballs. Just after browning all the sides, I then take them out of the pan and then add them to a plate to just kind of sit off to the side so I can finish the rest of the stuff that's going to go in the gravy. That's like the paste and the wine and all that, but that's for another video. Once that part is done though, behind the scenes, I'll then add these beautiful meatballs to the pot of gravy I've got going on for Sunday gravy. Alright guys, hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, let me know. See ya. Alright guys, there you go. The meatballs. Thanks for watching.